Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and today I present to you a king representing Indiana. His name is Jimmy Nichols. He is founder and CEO of Verified Mortgage and Yeti Mortgage Processing with NMLS number 1653625. Verified Mortgage LLC is created to service the loan industry a little differently. They support their branches and loan officers with the full service in-house team, which offers them the flexibility they need to best serve their territories and customers. Servicing the loan from beginning to end saves the borrower time, and you can trust that they say what they say they can fund a loan, they do it. And they do it with care. That's because Verified Mortgage LLC is an independent full-service residential mortgage banker. Assurance is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac seller/servicer approved, as well as Ginnie Mae issuer approved. They offer a full menu of attractive residential loan products, and service to borrower satisfaction is their number one priority. Their mission is to serve the people in the local communities by enabling them to buy the home of their dreams. They are focused on changing the way Americans buy and own a home in this country. Step by step, they're taking apart the old infrastructure and replacing it with thoughtful technology and a better experience. You can get in touch with Jim at 317-650-8547 or Jimmy at myverifiedmortgage.com. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy, good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well, man. How about yourself? Another day, another dollar, or another day in paradise?
Yeah. A little both. So started early today. So
hey, I appreciate starting the day early for me.
Yeah, no problem.
What
you got for me?
What year did you get into the mortgages, Jimmy? What made you want to get into the industry?
Is it chance, luck? So I actually took it for a data entry job after I quit my managing a Papa John's for like 5 years. So,
whoa,
yeah.
As
my old boss used to say, I had the worst interview of all time because I didn't want the job. My wife was like, "Hey, I was like 28. She's like, "Hey, you need to go get a job," and I was like, "All right, fine." So, went in, didn't do a great job in the interview, and then turns out it was the best hire they've ever made.
1,000%. What year did you get in, Jimmy?
What is 2024? So 2018, 2017, 2018.
Nice. How was it running the pandemic for you? Like, how was that for you?
It was good. I quit at the other company and started working at Nexa Mortgage, and then Nexa gives you the platform to create your own company, and they did exactly what they said they do. So I started my company once I was eligible.
Nice. So you're still powered by Nexa?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. But they helped me. I would say that, like, going from a correspondent lender to the broker channel, if you work for a good correspondent lender, there's a lot of training wheels.
Yeah.
And that they help you take one wheel off and then the other. So.
No, it makes total sense. What do you think was a turning point in your career where your eyes opened up and you're like, I'm staying in here. Like, this is me.
I don't know that I'm still there yet. So I'm not willing to commit to the mortgage industry for the next 20 years, but it pays well. So.
No, it's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. What's the misunderstood thing about you, would you say?
Misunderstood?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people misunderstand me. So, I guess maybe I make bad first impressions, but that's
not no words at all.
Yeah.
So, I always say my second impressions are better than my first too.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't have very many misunderstandings. That'd be crazy. I just sort of walk away from those things. So
what about the industry? Is there anything misunderstood things about the industry, would you say?
I think that last week we had a big misunderstanding with those rates dropping. So that was the worst. So I've never seen so many news channels report something so incorrectly before.
That's funny. It's funny how Americans can only have like a third, maybe fourth grade level of financial literacy. Do you think there's anything misunderstood about your work?
No, not. I mean, not. No, I mean, you call, you want a mortgage, I get you a mortgage. It's pretty, it's a lot different when people are handing you referrals and people want to do referral business. I think before I came from direct to consumer, so we were all internet leads, so there was no referral business. I think you could say that maybe some people didn't understand what was going on as well as they could have, because they didn't have a real estate professional at all times guiding them through it. So, but I think it's pretty hard to bring a couple $1,000s to a closing table and say you don't understand what's going on over a 30-day process. So no misunderstandings. So
no, totally right. Yeah. You think consumers understand that they're paying more interest than principal when they're signing that amortization schedule?
No, they do not. I think they understand. I don't think they care. And I don't know that. I think the mistake that they make isn't buying the house and signing up for the amortization schedule. It's on the next purchase or the next refinance and making those things happen too soon. So, somebody will refinance a mortgage they've done for 10 years. And if you call the wrong loan officer, they're not going to explain the bell curve switching on them, and if you think about it from a financial literacy standpoint, the whole reason Dave Ramsey recommends the 15-year mortgage is because people don't have the financial discipline. Most people don't have the financial discipline to pay off their house as fast as they can. Right. And so when we give somebody the opportunity to free up $200, $300, $400 without coaching them in the fact that, hey, you're 40 years old, this is going to be your highest expense when you drop to fixed income. We can see they have no 401ks, and we're just re-upping mortgages on them. We're giving them their own coffin. So that sort of a big problem, but here we are in another refi boom.
Yeah, it seems like we're about into another refi boom. You're totally right on that. If you could change one thing about the industry, what would it be and why?
TRID.
Like the QM rule, or what about TRID?
The whole thing. I don't think that it should take 30 days to get somebody a house. I think that's a ridiculous ask. I think title can generate your title work and do a good title search in 3 days. I think an appraiser can get out there in a week. I think those are good things in the industry, necessary things, but I think asking us to wait 14 days for something that could be done in 2 or 3 is ridiculous.
No, you're not. I see your point there.
And then when you think about it from like a consumer standpoint, if I as a mortgage company could get something done for you in 7 days or less, just like a cash offer, but you don't have to deal with the unknowns of dealing with a corporation, which is the biggest complaint with dealing with some of those companies, is that inspection period that they keep backing out of deals on. Because they're making offers sight unseen. And so I think I would give consumers a better chance against cash offers by getting rid of the time constraint that we're putting on mortgages for no reason. Because like somebody doesn't understand their closing costs and their monthly payment from day one. It's fucking stupid. You want to give somebody 3 days after you give them $50,000 to decide if they want $50,000? Sure. Okay. But you want to force somebody into a 7-day agreement at a minimum for no reason. I don't see the benefit there. So they could think about it. I mean, they've already thought about it.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, Jimmy. I'm not gonna lie to you. What's the most courageous decision you made recently, and how did it impact you? Or why did you want to start your own processing company? Can you mention a little bit why a good processor is very imperative?
Yeah, so the processing company isn't in business anymore. When you look at like the broker channel and stuff, the processing company makes sense. And so if you think of like Weemlo or even Nexa has SMG, they don't claim it as theirs, but pretty confident the same house owns it. I could be wrong. I don't want to spread rumors, but I think that, or SMP is what it's called. And then I think that there was another big broker that owned. There was another processing company. I think that we all recognize that loan officers do a good job of getting loans in the pipeline. But what separates the men from the boys is a good processor. That especially when you're giving somebody 30 days, communication is key. Going to the customer once is key. Knowing if you're being asked for documentation that's unnecessary is key. And a good processor will save you time and money.
1,000%. 1,000%. What's the next big thing we should expect in the mortgage industry, and how are you contributing to it?
The next big thing I think is that's a loaded question because I'm not contributing to it. I think AI is going to be a problem. I think it's potentially going to, if they do find a way to change the rules, could take my job. So, but I think when you look at sales trends, there's no denying the Hispanic representation is on the up and up, 3.6 trillion GDP. So.
No, yeah. Hispanics, I forget the statistic, but like Hispanics are like the leading growth in home ownership. And
so
then
it's hard to ignore that. That's a positive thing. So, the other one is sort of like it's a positive for the consumer. It will be great for the consumer. So when AI comes, have you used ChatGPT or anything like that?
AI is very interesting. There's programmers that keep their AI censored, and then there's other programmers that they just let their AI just explore the whole database. Whatever they can find, they let the AI just. It's kind of interesting. AI might take away truck drivers. AI might take away the callers. Like AI might wipe out a lot of jobs, I would say.
Truck driving is it's possible. I don't want to say it's a long way away. Maybe by the time my son is 16, he won't need a license. But for us, like you can call the phones, like on your smartphone right now, your phone can use your voice. It takes 30 minutes to set up, but it's in the accessibility features. And so like you're typing and then it could sound like you. And so you pair that with the fact that AI can already read and now it can use your voice. I mean, everyone's seen deep fake videos. So when you type in AI, like if you uploaded a credit report to ChatGPT and asked it a question mortgage related off the credit report, it nails it every time. So, as long as it's making financially accurate decisions, I think that ChatGPT or any other AI platform could probably generate 3 options and mathematical equations just as good as any loan officer could. So, or better.
That is kind of scary but interesting at the same time, I would say. You bring up a really good, interesting point, Jimmy. You don't have to answer this at all, but like, how do you handle criticism or negative feedback about your work if it's ever occurred?
Not well. I just, I usually have to. I have a stupid rule, like if I'm trying to apply feedback to somebody where I cool it off for a day and see if it's important to me. But, criticism, I own my own company. I pay my own bills, so I probably could use a little humility in my life and take it better. So,
Power to you, Jimmy. Power to you. I hope you manifest. What are your goals with your company for these next 5 to 10 years? Would you say?
So like my short-term goal is to pay off all my personal debt, and then from there, probably hire some more people. Once I know that I can keep them on for a minimum of 2 years without ever having to worry about things like COVID or not being able to pay their bills. So once we do that, we'll start to expand. But first priority is to take care of the house first, and then from there we'll grow the company. So just being more patient.
No, yeah, I'm sure you'll scale up and manifest. What's the story behind your most memorable success or failure?
I don't. I'd say that my biggest success is having 3 happy kids. As weird as that sounds, that's, if you see me on social media, that's what I enjoy doing. So the fact that my wife gets the choice to stay home or work, she can do whatever she wants. That's her choice. Right now, she's choosing to stay home with our 3 kids, and I think that's pretty huge. So especially in this economy. So
1,000%. You guys are like super close to financial freedom, it sounds like.
No, not even close, but we will be by the end of next year. So so it's still got to pay off the mortgage. So
all in due time, Jimmy. All in due time.
Yes. By the way, I am paying off my mortgage with a 2.75% interest rate. Don't care. Done. So yeah. I'm not of that mindset of not paying it off. It's gone. So
that's one less expensive to think about. Is there a memorable failure that sticks with you that you think like it really shaped you or like chiseled you? You think?
No, okay. No failure. I didn't. I was good at wrestling. I wrestled in college. I was good at mortgages. I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't failed, but I don't dwell on them. You know, you just learn from your mistakes and move on to the next thing. So there's nothing that I'm looking back on. I'm like, shit, I should have done that better. Like, even like some people, when I started working at Papa John's, my mom said, this probably isn't the best job for you. You know, but by the time I was done there, I was making $80K as like a 27-year-old. So it's like, how do you say that was a mistake? I got to meet a lot of great people.
Well, I did not know Papa John's paid like that, to be honest with you.
Papa John's salaries like 50, 60. I mean, I don't know what it is right now, but back 10 years ago, it was great salary and good bonuses. So, and cool. It was a great job. So
yeah. Thanks for sharing that insight. I'm sure there's someone out there listening that might tell their kids about this. Who or what inspires or influences you the most in your work?
Inspired me?
Mm-hmm.
My mom, probably. Just a hard worker. Yeah, held down 2 jobs, 3 kids. So, you know, I would say that type of work ethic, seeing that day in, day out, you know, it makes you not want to. I don't necessarily know that I want to go as far as she went, working weekends and nights and stuff to provide, but just knowing that there was never a fear that I didn't have a roof or food. And so that type of comfort, I hope that my kids can learn from that. But yeah, probably my mom.
No, your
you
mom.
Know, if you're asking me like what celebrity figure, I think Elon Musk is doing some interesting things. I think it's hard to deny the richest man in the world who continues to set himself up for failure and mockery and just ignoring all of it. So From a mortgage standpoint, I would say there's a huge case study in Nexa Mortgage's Mike Cordes. I think that needs to be looked at and viewed. Had it not got, in my opinion, whiffed, U Mortgage could have been looked at and viewed. I think that their growth sort of stalled a little bit. So, maybe Mike. I'd probably look at Ishba and the guy who owns Quicken. I forget his name. See what they did and how they got there. So, there's a local company called Royal United Mortgage, who I think is set up better than most people for retirement because of the way the business model works. So, looking at that and figuring that out, because as a small broker, if I don't start throwing money in the retirement, there is no retirement. There's no residuals in that. So, looking at companies that are not only setting employees up, but setting themselves up as founders to retire is pretty cool.
Yeah, you're totally right. How would you set up yourself? How would you set up for residuals for retirement for that one local company? I'm actually curious about that.
I think you got to hire loan officers and generate enough money that you could put $100,000, $500,000, whatever your goal is, to the side, and the company wouldn't miss it or struggle as a result of you taking some type of advisory seat to the company, or just while you are generating steady income and putting in the work, making sure that you're setting yourself up by paying off your debt or setting up a good Roth or 401k. Those are the ways that you have to do it. But growing the company through loan officers and then putting the right people in the seat to lead it when you bow out. Selling a company, I don't know. I think that is going to be an interesting topic down the road when you look at it, because of how many companies got sold and then didn't perform there in 2020. I think that's probably gone unless you're one of the bigger companies. So.
No, you bring good insight, Jimmy. You bring good insight, and thanks for sharing that about your mom. She really sounded like a super mom, I would say.
She's the best.
Yeah, I believe number one mom. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Historical figure?
Mm-hmm.
If I could ask the question again.
If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Probably Jesus.
Yeah, it's funny. You're not the first or last person to say that response. Why M for you, would you say?
Don't you want to know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're totally right. Totally. So, if you study him, he for some reason he doesn't speak to you directly. He speaks to you like indirectly, where like you feel internal tension inside. It's like you make the decision, like somehow like he makes you somehow come up with a decision with your he makes you feel like you came up with the decision on your own with your own idea almost. It's an interesting figure, I would say. What's your advice for someone starting out in the industry? Say someone who comes to you like, hey Jimmy, I want to join your team. What's your advice to them, like getting a loan funded within 3 months and just taking off in 2025?
I think that this is an industry where, it depends on what type of business you want to run. And it depends on, I think that you have to have a clear understanding of what you want to do for the next 5, 10, 20 years, right? If you just want to be a loan officer, come in and go home, and you'd be happy doing that till you're 55, then, I would probably go join a chop shop. I'd go join a company that's direct to consumer where you have 30 licenses and you're not putting your reputation on the line to learn. You're putting your company's reputation on the line to learn. I see a lot of people say, oh, go get licensed and be a broker. The problem is when you're a broker, it's your reputation. So you mess up one loan, 5 people are going to know about it instantly. And then those 5 people are going to tell another 5 people. So you're looking at like 25 people knowing that you whiffed in your local area. So I think slowing down, making sure you understand the nuances of mortgages, because it isn't easy. It's actually a pretty hard thing once you start wanting to help everyone and not just a paper. And so I would say go join a chop shop, put a year in, 2 years, learn some guidelines, and then make a decision on where you want your career to go. Do you want to stay and climb the corporate ladder? There's a lot of great things. I didn't realize AEs made as much money as they did. There's a lot of banks where people are like, I want to go work for a Chase Bank. Well, Chase Bank at the branch level is probably not that great, but Chase Bank at the corporate level, when you're over 10 branches, 5 bips adds up pretty quick. So I think that it's a decision, but I would always start at a chop shop where you're learning and not putting your reputation on the line. I also started processing first, so I wasn't a sales guy. I started my first 2 years were in processing, and so got to see a lot more files, got to see how to get files done faster. Instead of doing 1 to 5 loans a month, I was doing 20, 30 loans a month. And so, I would say maybe think about not going into sales and going into processing. If you can't go get a chop shop, go join a processing company. Let them teach you how to get loans done to the finish line. And then you can go back and refine your sales skills. Mortgages are easy to sell. You don't have to, there's no secret sauce, right? Interest rate is the only thing we're fighting over, and most of us are pretty close. So I don't think you're winning a loan because you're 0.1% cheaper or $7 cheaper than the other guy. I think you're winning a loan because people like you. And so if you're good at sales, the only thing you need to worry about is, can you offer exceptional customer service on the back end?
Now you bring up great points, Jimmy. You bring up great points. What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned in your career so far?
Under promise, over deliver.
No, you're totally right. That definitely brings that. It makes the user experience that much better when you set it up that way. What do you think is the key to maintaining a work-life balance, and how do you apply it in your life?
I stopped working weekends, so I'll answer a call on the weekends because it's quick. Most phone calls don't take that long. I'll knock out a pre-approval with Arrive and stuff. You can do them on your phone, so it's pretty easy. But weekends and most night times are for my family, so I got no problem answering the call. Never make somebody feel bad for calling me. I encourage the phone calls, but if I'm at a movie, I'm at a movie. So like tonight, I have a soccer game. I'll let some of my key partners know, like, hey, from 6 to 7, I got a championship soccer kids tournament. So I'll be there. But as soon as I'm out, I'll answer your calls if you call or text. So
nice. Now you definitely know how to you know how to prioritize and set your boundaries, I would say.
It took a long time, man. My wife will tell you. My wife will tell you she was a single mother for the first two years of our oldest life. So it's, I would say that, last night I worked till midnight. So we're not, by no means do I want to paint a picture of like, that I haven't figured out, because I don't, just trying to get through it. But the important thing is, when work's there, we work. And when it's not there, I focus on what I need to focus on. And that was, coming from corporate to be a broker, that was actually pretty hard to figure out, like, hey, it's okay to be at home on a Wednesday with your family and kids. You don't need to feel guilty about not being at work. That's not how you get paid. So I don't get paid off of time anymore. I get paid off of service. So
yeah. So right. This is we get paid for results. It's a result-oriented business, I would say. What's the most challenging aspect of being in your role in 2024?
Figuring out how to make other people on my team achieve their goals. So I think that is, I know how to motivate myself, and I'm not saying they're not happy, because I don't want to paint that picture either, but I got a few people who could be absolute monsters, and they've got enough. So, that's always been a struggle from day one. So that's what I would say.
No, it's human behavior is one of the most interesting things imaginable. Yeah, you told me everyone's wired differently. So like the way you motivate, or the way you motivate somebody, you have to just cater to them in different aspects, I would say.
I think it's like athletes, though. You have to want to be motivated, right? You as a coach, you might be able to find one or two kids who want to be motivated, but at the end of the day, they have to say yes first. So
no, you're totally right.
Yeah, that would be my answer.
No, you're totally right, Jimmy. What's your favorite book, podcast, article that's had significant impact on your life or work, would you say?
Favorite book, like business book, would be like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or the Babylon book. I think is all the coins in Babylon or something like that. I forget. I found those books pretty interesting. Favorite nonfiction book would be Ender's Game. So I probably read that 4 or 5 times. Good book. So,
whoever's hearing this, pick up those books. It could really change your whole trajectory or be a catalyst.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with what he was saying in that book, which who am I to disagree with a billionaire? But I think the way that he wrote it, both of those books were written, like if you ever read like business books or motivational books, they're not written like stories. They're written like cliff notes, like you're getting clickbaited. And so those books are written like stories, and I thought they were well done. So that's why I like them.
Easy reads are always the best, especially when it's easy on the eyes.
Yeah.
Jimmy, have you ever been like driving or like on your phone or watching TV and just thought to yourself, maybe if I wasn't in mortgage, I'd want to be doing this? Like, what would be like another career that you wish you could have picked if it wasn't mortgages?
I always thought I wanted to be a coach until I had kids. And I think coaching would be fun, but it's such a huge commitment to be away from the family that I don't think I would want to do that anymore. Maybe when my kids are older, if my body still works, but the more you look at like opening a gym or something like that, the more you have to think about the hours of operation and what you're willing to sacrifice to be away from your kids. So a year or 2 years ago, I would have told you opening a wrestling academy or a jiu-jitsu gym. But as my kids are getting older and I'm doing more stuff with them at night, and on weekends we go to soccer tournaments and things like that, it's like, do I really want to go coach strangers' kids, or do I want to be around my kids? And so that's sort of there. And then I think opening a restaurant of my own one day will be fun. It'll be a huge financial risk, but I see myself opening a restaurant down the road. So
nice, man. What kind of restaurant you think? What are you thinking?
Pizza.
Back to the stomping grounds.
I'm gonna start a pizza buffet. So I don't even want fancy pizza. I want a buffet.
That's an interesting concept. I don't think there's anyone doing that, to be honest with you.
CC's.
Oh yeah, CC's. Yeah,
CC's does. I bet there's a few Pizza Huts that still have their buffets open, but here in where I'm at, there's no buffets, period. So just a buffet would be cool. So, in general. So I think the only thing that I don't know is like, obviously when you and I were kids, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 37. Buffets were huge, but people are bigger now. So, how are those margins? That's the only. So that would be the only thing that you have to be careful of or wary of. And so if you do it, or when I do it, I'll have to be able to pivot. So you have to make great quality pizza, but you have to be able to pivot to maybe not all you can eat buffet, but like 5 plates buffet. You can have a pie. After that, you're buying a second one. So. I've seen some kids scarf down a whole pizza before. That put CC's out of business.
So dude, you're funny, man. No, I hope you manifest that idea. That's a very interesting concept. I would say I wouldn't mind going to a business model like that to go eat. What's one piece of advice you wish you had received early in your career that you think really could have just changed like the whole trajectory for yourself? Or accelerated it?
Piece of advice that would have changed like
your career, the trajectory.
I don't know that I would have listened to it. I'm sure people gave me advice all the time. So maybe try harder in school. So I would argue that I wasted that opportunity. So but outside of that, career advice, I take it when it's given to me. I can receive feedback in a constructive manner, and I say I'm coachable, so I'm not worried about that. It's just more or less, I think the one thing that I'm looking for now would probably be an actual business coach. I think that I'll hire somebody who's done that, been there, done that here in the next year or two. But I want to get a more expensive one so that when I'm paying, I know it's there and, know that I'll go do it. I got a buddy who pays, I want to say he pays like $5,000 a month for his coaching, but it 10x his business.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of merit in that, because I asked him why he chose such an expensive business coach. And his point was, Jimmy, if I pay $500, I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to do what is asked of me. I'm not going to take it seriously. You start paying a couple grand a month to somebody, and your mindset changes, which is a weird thing to say, but I think it also, I can't get in a room with his name, not Grant Cardone, the other one, Tony Robbins.
Mm-hmm.
You and I can't afford that. I guess I don't know if you can. I can't afford that, but I'm sure he would be a great business coach. So on a one-on-one level, like look at it and just dissect, like, why are you spending money on Peacock type thing? So
yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, someone like that. Yeah, they reverse engineer all your habits and all your inputs, and then they probably like restructure to get whatever your output is. They'll help you with reverse engineer that for the inputs and outputs. Now you bring up a good point though. Having a good coach can give a very positive ROI.
Yeah. So I think once I hit the first goal and we start expanding that, it'll be a necessary evil to making sure that I'm. I think it's building. I always tell people, like, I've created a good job for myself. I haven't built a business. I'm still just a loan officer. I'm a loan officer who's got some licensing responsibilities, a little bit more tax obligation than I had before, and a couple employees to take care of. But I'm still just a loan officer at the end of the day. I haven't built a business. If you saw the business and wanted to buy the business, you couldn't buy the business or want it. And so I think that's once I get to the next level, that's what I'm going to be looking for, is somebody to make sure I'm building and scaling correctly.
No, I'm sure you'll manifest, Jimmy. You seem very sharp from our discussion today. I would say. I got 2 more questions for you.
Yep. Hit. You've got me.
So when I'm really old, Jimmy, I'm actually gonna rewatch these. So I'm probably like 80 years old rewatching this. You got a life message for me by chance?
When you're old,
Yeah.
turn your screen off and go enjoy life. You're about to die.
All right.
Quit reminiscing with a old job like you do mortgages for fun.
Yeah.
like podcasts for fun. That's you think Jay Leno's just sitting there watching his old TV host shows? Go get it, man.
Yeah, no, you're right, Jimmy. You're right. You bring up a really good point here. You're very pragmatic, I would say. You're extremely pragmatic.
What's that mean?
Pragmatic. So like there's theoretical where like what professors do, you know what I mean? They teach you concepts, but then there's people that are like pragmatic where like they actually they do like applicable things where like it's like realistic, like they're like result oriented basically. Because there's theory and then there's actually like execution. Because an idea is only an idea until you execute, I would say.
Yeah. No, I guess, yeah. I guess I'm pragmatic. Yeah. So cool. I didn't know that. Thank you for teaching me.
No worries at all, man. No worries at all. And then my final question to you. What legacy do you hope to leave behind through your work when it's all said and done?
Through my work?
Mm-hmm.
That my kids start their own businesses and, that as we grow the company itself leaves a legacy for people more than just myself. We're already helping people get homes, so that's pretty cool. 9 times out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10 times, but from like a legacy standpoint, if you're talking about legacy, again, right now we haven't built or started anything. And so whatever I build and start, I'd like to have it touch more lives than just my own, I think that would be pretty cool to, I think there was a stat I heard the other day that said, I think it was Gary Vee. So I'll have to go double check for you. But Gary Vee said something like the first 15 people that invested in Facebook are richer than the next 100,000 startup companies that started in Silicon Valley. And so I think of something like that and think like, I don't need 100,000 people to leave behind. But if I could touch 5, 10, 15 of my friends, that would be pretty cool. So.
No, it sounds like you're chasing fulfillment almost.
What's that mean? What do you mean?
So like happiness is like a dopamine. Like you can like pet your dog or eat French fries, and that's like that can make you happy. But fulfillment's like you actually doing something, and it just makes you feel. I don't know. It just moves you almost like that. If there's more there's more value to you like helping somebody than the monetary value, if that makes sense.
No, it's all money. Like, you got people that there's just, I don't know that money will bring people happiness. If you're a sad person, you're going to be sad whether you have debt or not. But, if you're stressed out, maybe getting a little bit more will help. So I don't know. I think that I'm surrounded by a lot of good people, and if and when we get there, I'd like to think that I take them all with me.
Nice, man. Yeah, climb the mountain together.
This is the most disappointing thing I've seen about your company, Nexa, is that Grella and Matt are fighting. I hope they figure that shit out. I like that they were boys.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Yeah, the town hall isn't the same without them, Matt. It's crazy how that all occurred.
I don't know what's wrong, but they just need to squash it. So It's just money. They both have it. Who cares? So
that's funny. That's really funny, Jimmy. You got anything else on your mind by chance? Any questions, comments, or thoughts?
Why do you do this?
Why do I
couldn't figure that out, man? You're a jack of all trades. Your Facebook and your LinkedIn are completely different. What are you doing the podcasting for?
Also, it came to me the July 4th weekend, because like but when I got into the industry, I came into this like oblivious to what the industry was about, and then for some reason like I had an epiphany like July 4th weekend. I was like, wait a minute, like the past like 2.5 years I've been trying to befriend any realtor I could get in contact with, when in reality 20% of the realtors do like 80% of the work. So maybe I should just bring in the 20% in, and perhaps like they say like the 5, like you're like the average of the 5 people you hang out most with. So I was like, let me just bring on these top realtors and let me see why they're so like outperforming everybody else. And I come to a realization that nothing is random in this life, and people are where they're supposed to be because through like their hard work and just.
Are mortgages your full-time job then?
Yeah.
And feel free to cut this. So we'll do one of these for you.
All right.
Mortgages is what you do?
Yeah. Let me end this for you, Jimmy. How do you want to get people to get in contact with you?
They've got my cell phone number. Google me. So
all right,
you can just call it. So only if you're a customer, though. I don't need sales calls. So I get enough. So
yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from a king from Indiana, Jimmy Nichols. Get in touch with them through phone or email. Everything's in the description. Jimmy, thank you so much for your time. Can you stay on the call for 1 or 2 more minutes after this?
Yeah.
Thank you.